Hey everybody, I'm going to give you a quick look today at a really cool product that I picked up recently. This is the stock class tank cover for 13 3K air tanks. These are actually made not really by a company, but by one guy at MCB, and he does them in batches. Every time he gets enough people signed up for pre-order, he does a batch of them. He can do them in 13 3K, he's done them for 22, and I'm hoping in the next run he does them for 50 45 tanks, so I can get one for my big tank and hold a bunch of tubes around that. But let me get to the product itself. This is a very high quality tank cover in and of itself, regardless of the 10-round tube loops. And we all know how hard it is to find tank covers for 13 3Ks, so this is really nice. It's very high quality material. It's even got the bottom covered up, which you don't see in some 13 3K covers. It's really easy to use. It's got a neck there. You can tighten that up. So you just pull this, all right, and then kind of clamp it down and you're good to go. Now it holds 10 10-round tubes around it on these loops. The loops, really high quality. I've used this a couple times now since I got it, and I haven't had any issues with the tube snagging on the rings. With some tube harnesses, sometimes you get the rough burrs on the underside of the tube snagging on the material for the loops. That hasn't happened at all, which is great. I really like it, and the fact that that's not happening indicates that this should last longer than some other 10-round tube harnesses based on the simple loop kind of thing. I like to use this just like I have it here, with half the loops empty, half the loops full, for two reasons. One, it's easier to get the tubes out when you don't have the whole thing covered in tubes, and two, if you have the whole thing covered in tubes and you put your gun down, you can actually crush a tube. I almost did that one time. So you keep it half empty, and then when you put your gun down, you're not going to crush the tubes on the underside. You can just spin it to wherever the tubes aren't. You could spin the cover on the tank to wherever the tubes aren't. Make sure that side is facing downward when you put your gun down. That does bring me to the only downside I see of this, which is that it spins. So you might think you're reaching for where a full tube is, but it may have spun since you last looked at it, and then there may be an empty tube there or no tube at all. It's a very minor complaint, and actually you can solve that by taking this thing and wrapping it around like the gauge or something, and then that'll keep it from spinning. So it's a very easily solvable problem. And that's my only nitpicking problem with this product. This is really cool. For stock class players, if you play with a 13 3K, you know you get between 100 and 150 shots. So you put 10 tubes on this, you're pretty much good. You don't need to carry any more paint, so you don't need a faster harness or anything else, and that is really nice. So this is the stock class 13 3K tank cover tube holder thing. Again, I'll put the link for the thread down in the description. Keep an eye out there if you want to get one. They only get made in relatively small batches, so get in if you have the chance. Thanks for watching. See you soon.